Off from our dual meet on November 14th. This time we're taking a look at Vance here in lane 8. Unfortunately, Vance, you're in both of your events. You're in lane 8, which is definitely the hardest event for us to have filmed in this meet. I'll do my best to break it down. I'm going to play the whole race straight through, and we'll go back and kind of pick apart a few things after we've watched it one time uninterrupted. You're not going to be in every frame here just because of being in lane 8. It's with the tents and everything. It's kind of hard to see, but here we go. All right, so nice swim, Vance. You were a 2:15.2. I'm not sure you had swam this before. That certainly is the best time if you did. You're out 106 and back 109. So by the 100, those are really great splits. First 50 was a 30.9, then 35.0, 34.9, 34.3. So what's really cool about this is your second 50 is actually your slowest 50. You kind of descended from there. Your third 50 was faster than the second. Your fourth was faster than the third. So all in all, pretty well swum race. Obviously, your second 50 being the outlier at 35, you kind of get that a little faster. I mean, that's instant, just race strategy improvement. Taking a look now at the, swim itself. First thing on the start here, let me back up. So take your mark there. So we're kind of like slingshotting here. So what you want to do is when you take your mark, you want to relax. So here you're really pulling back. You think that you're going to slingshot yourself into the pool. But in reality, once the buzzer goes off here, you're a little bit slow off the blocks. Um, Probably the second to last person off the blocks. So what we need to do is come down into a neutral position, and a neutral position includes having our hips above our head. A lot of people in high school swimming have their hips in about aligned with their heads, which you don't want to do. You want to have your hips higher, but you might even have your hips lower than your head. So what we got to do is really extend these legs, get the hips up here. We also need to relax the neck so the eyes aren't looking straight down, but the eyes are looking here towards the wedge. I think it would help for you to have your foot a little higher on the wedge. So instead of having your toes like right there on the flat part of the block, bring that ball of the foot right about the middle of the wedge. I think that would be a little more comfortable and it'll make it a little easier to bring the hips up. All right, on the entrance itself, you've improved the arm part of the start. You used to do kind of this little wind up motion. Now you're just throwing the arms straight up ahead of you. Thing is, we want to make sure that we get our arms into streamline before we hit the water. All right, so we got to get the arms into streamline. Your head is in a nice position at least. And these legs, it looks like the right leg is in a good position. The left leg obviously is not. And then the right the left leg bends even more as you start to hit the water. So we got to make sure those legs are nice and together, create some flexion in them, make sure they're tight and together. All right, so trying to see what we can. If we come up swimming nice and hard. So what I'm kind of noticing here is you almost do like a wiggle, like you're slithering like a snake. Like you're, let me back it up just a hair. So notice it kind of looks like your hips are going side to side a little bit. So instead of really rotating on an axis that runs down the middle of our body, you do a little bit of a side swivel. So really think about, example, on a pool set, you're rotating so that pool buoy is kind of flipping the side that's facing the surface of the pool each time. Really want to focus on that rotation and not as much of a side to side swivel like you're doing right here. All right, the other thing I want to point out is your breath. Excuse me. So notice when you come to take a breath, there's kind of like this little hitch in your stroke that you got to throw yourself up to get that breath. So right here, you're going to take a breath, you're kind of throwing your upper shoulder head area up into the air to get the breath. What we need to do, and this goes along with the rotation, is coming out of the rotation, we just roll to our side and get that breath. So if you think about on a 3-pull-6 kick drill, or anytime we do right side, left side kick kind of stuff, think about resting that ear on your shoulder. That front arm is guiding you. You got one goggle in the water, one goggle out. The chin is nice and flat. Our head's kind of parallel with the floor. And that sets us up to be in a nice position to breathe. Right now, you're really throwing yourself up to try to get that breath, and that hitch of the stroke is throwing you off. I think fixing the rotation is a big key to making sure that we have that part of the stroke correct. And the last thing I want to talk about is the flip turn. So, well, we missed it there. Let's see if we get another flip turn down here. Yeah, so we're going to catch this one just by a bit. So coming into the wall. Okay, so what we want to do, we need to time the turn just a little bit better. So you notice, you're coming in here. That left arm takes a stroke, and you are beginning to flip with your head while the left arm is still taking the stroke. So your left arm is never really properly utilized throughout the turn here. So what you want to do is time this better. So maybe this right arm was the last stroke you take, and both of your hands are down there by your hips. You begin to reach to your toes with both arms as you bend the upper body. Because now that left arm really puts you in an awkward position. Now, as you're flip turning, look where your arms are. They're still out to the side, and your feet are about to hit the wall. You want to be in a streamlined position when your feet hit the wall so that you may push off immediately. But you notice here, your feet are on the wall. Your hands are basically like in your chest area now, and you're trying to push off, and you're in a really poor position there, and you don't take any kicks, and you just start swimming again. Luckily, you're swimming nice and hard. You keep it consistent and actually a little bit faster by 50 on the back half throughout the whole race. And so the effort is there. We just got to really clean up the walls and our breath, the rotation, so that way all that effort really results in a nice fast time. You're 2:15 at this meet. I don't see why you can't break 2:10 this season. Lots of promising stuff happening for you, Vance. Nice job.